Welcome to a Community Partners interview where we explore the organizations, opportunities, and resources that look to make change in our daily lives. I'm your host, Jocelyn Dore, and you're listening to Voices for Ability Radio, all abilities, all the time. Today, I'm joined by Cassandra Rasko, who is the Executive Director for Autism Edmonton. Since April 1971, Autism Edmonton, then known as the Autism Society of Edmonton area, has been providing services and support to autistic people, their families, and supports. The organization was first formed as a society by a group of concerned, passionate, and dedicated parents of autistic individuals and continues to evolve as it works to meet the needs of the changing local autism community. Today, Autism Edmonton is known as a go-to source for families, individuals, and professionals looking for autism resources. Autism Edmonton's work has many different categories of need: family support, community engagement, professional consultation, local research support, and advocacy. As the needs of their members grow and change, along with the resources available in the community, Autism Edmonton has been adapting and updating the different programs and services they offer to best serve individuals and families who need them. Thank you for joining us today, Cassandra.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell us a little bit more about you and what inspired you to work at Autism Edmonton and to work with individuals with disabilities.
Definitely. So I've been in the nonprofit sector for just over 10 years. And I first love working in nonprofits. I think the work that nonprofits do is amazing. We're solving big world problems in our communities and very grassroots. Specifically for Autism Edmonton, I had the opportunity to join the board back in 2022, I believe, and seeing the impact of the community, and then also personally, my niece is autistic, and just seeing the challenges that my sister went through, and knowing that there are organizations like ours out there that help support. So that really kind of pushed me to join the board. And I went on mat leave in 2024. And when I came back from mat leave, there was the executive director position available, and I was returning to the board. And we had decided that I would step off, join Autism Edmonton in an interim capacity. And that was back in August of 2025. And the fit was just really great. The team is amazing and just so awesome here in the work that they do. And I kind of really felt at home. And so it was a short little recruitment earlier this year. And then it became official in February that I would be the executive director going forward. And just the impact that the organization makes. I feel like we are a staff of 10. And from the work that we do, you wouldn't quite know it, that we're such a small team, but making huge impact and working within the sector. So I feel very lucky and privileged to be in this position.
So can you tell me a bit about the services that you guys offer?
For sure. So I'll start with where most people enter, and that is through our frontline information and service navigation. So as we know, in our world, there's so many layering systems, and it's complex and challenging to navigate. So even before somebody's diagnosed, or if they're suspecting they could be neurodivergent, oftentimes they'll reach out to Autism Edmonton, whether it's through our online form or by giving us a call. And you'll connect with one of our frontline team to really work through what it is you're looking for. And that can vary through, I need help with this form. I need to find some better housing. I'm food insecure and I need to access the food bank. And so we'll kind of navigate them to the right resource. And sometimes it's a warm referral. Sometimes it's in-house. So we do also have what we call the pantry. So we're a satellite location for Edmonton's food bank. What we've heard is the food bank can be very stimulating. It's not sensory friendly, but coming into our office is, and many people do believe it's more of a safe space. So they can access the pantry through here. And we also have what we just launched earlier this year called our third space. So on Tuesdays from 10 to 3 in our big boardroom, we've set up some computer stations, and people can just come and be like. A third space is not home, it's not work. You don't have to pay to be there. And it's just a place to whether decompress. We find oftentimes people will dedicate time to whether look for jobs or maybe look for housing. And so it's a space for them. So that's kind of like our front line. We also do a lot of education and advocacy. And so our education involves our Autism 101, 201, and 301. And we also have autism in the workplace. So working with employers who have, and they do have neurodivergent and autistic folks working there. So how to better support those folks. So that's another one of our services. We also partner with other organizations to do webinars and information. Some of them have been very popular. So we did one on autism and Ehlers-Danlos syndrome, and then having autism, being autistic and living with breast cancer, and how does that impact? So those have been quite popular. The other thing that we do is a lot of community events. So we want to be out there in the community, have our members participate. One that's coming up is on June 7th. We have Cycle for Autism at Goldbar Park here in Edmonton. People can register a team, or they can just come and hang out and just enjoy the day. Those are the ones we do. For advocacy, we sit on a lot of boards and tables. And that's kind of where our advocacy is. We want to make sure autistic and neurodivergent voices are heard, and especially where decisions are being made. So I have a few colleagues that we either lead some of these tables in our community or are a part of them.
Well, everyone has their own journey through life, and we're all individuals. What would a common journey through Autism Edmonton look like for one of your members?
Mm-hmm. That's an interesting question, because especially for with autism, it's so varied for each person. I will try to give it a typical journey, but with the caveat that it's very much a different journey for everyone. But let's say we have somebody who is, a lot of our members are on AISH or either be like supported by family. So usually low income, they come in, they might have just got a diagnosis, especially for a woman. It's usually like a later diagnosis because of just the way autism presents for women and how our systems navigate women through them. So they might come in, connect with Terry Lynn, who is our adult sports coordinator, and be like, you know what, I'm having trouble executive functioning. I want to have a community. I've just been diagnosed. And so Terry Lynn connects with them, tells them about the league. So that's like a social group that we have here for adults. We'll connect them with our adult or our Women Plus discussion group that happens monthly. And then they're connected. They will receive emails. We do quarterly emails. And that's kind of like the basis. So that's kind of the start. They're being connected through Autism Edmonton that way. And then from that point on, it's really on the member and how they want to engage. And so there's different events. They can attend. League events happen 4 times a month. They might want to come and participate in Cycle. We've even had one member who, through her time with Autism Edmonton, has wrote a poetry book, and I'd be happy to share that after, about her experience being autistic. And she was like selling her book, and then the proceeds, she decided to donate them back to Autism Edmonton, which was so kind. But again, that's like just one specific pathway, I guess. It's hard to say what a typical one is, but it's usually your front line. You might need help somewhere. You could get connected into social groups. And then from there on, it's up to the member how they might engage with us afterwards.
Are there any restrictions to the services at Autism Edmonton, such as age, caregivers, or family members only, things of that nature?
No, so for information and navigation, we say any age and any stage of life, people can connect with us. Our membership is free. I know people are surprised of the information we provide, but it's all public information. We just put it in a nice, easy to access way for members because it can be overwhelming. And for some of our programs, I forgot to mention Ocasio. Ocasio is a respite program for kiddos aged 8 to 18. So that one has to be like an age 8. We have staff, there could be one-to-one, or maybe it's you don't need a caregiver, so it's specific on the kind of person and how much staff we can provide for those events. But yeah, we don't have too many restrictions on our programs. Ocasio is respite, so it's intended that gives the caregiver parent some time to themselves. And then for the kiddo, it's you can go swimming. There's movie nights, sometimes video games, sometimes there's like information sessions too. We run a program through a different organization, but it's called Staying Home Alone Safe, I believe, something along those lines. But again, helping achieve some independence if that's what the family is looking for and if they want to attend. So I guess a long way to say that, yeah, no restrictions or too much. And yeah, we are here to help navigate and support families in the best way that we can with the resources that we have.
Without using any names, can you share a success story with me? What supports were put into place when someone asked for help?
Yeah, definitely. So I kind of already mentioned, but we are seeing influx in women who are approaching menopause or in perimenopause, and the kind of the cliff of hormones that happen there. It causes women to like unmask, and I mean it's a good thing, but if they've been masking their whole lives, it can be quite disruptive to them, and then trying to achieve that diagnosis, which in Alberta, it's a while before you can do that unless you can or you have the means to do it privately. But this person had this had happened. They had hit burnout, autistic burnout, had been diagnosed, and then were referred to Autism Edmonton. When they got here, it was just as the point as our autism women's group was starting. And so they had joined that. And just through the community and connection with other women who are going through similar things, they ended up thriving really and started the first Autistic Women's Retreat that folks could come out to for Women Plus and just really found that sense of community to support this really challenging time. And it's such an interesting example because we didn't do much, just provided that infrastructure and that dedicated space and time for people to just be. And it ended up being so much or so valuable for this particular person. So that's like the one that I can think of. I know there's many, many more that my team would probably be like, oh, you should have talked about this one and or this person and how we've had parents come to us and be like, you've quite literally saved my child during this period of time because it is challenging as you're going through like the school system and being autistic because many will, for some, it's like an invisible disability. And it's hard for especially teenagers. So we just provide the infrastructure, the tools, and then it's our members that are coming out and really making it what it is. And I think it just reverberates through the autistic community here in Edmonton.
Are there any events coming up for Autism Edmonton? I know you mentioned the cycle one that sounds really interesting, but any other ones?
Yes. Yeah. So cycle's coming up in June. We're right into our event season. Later in June, we have our fundraising casino. So if people are listening and they're in the Edmonton area and they want to volunteer, just give us a ring. And after the casino, we have K-Days. So during K-Days, we set up a sensory space for families and individuals who are autistic, neurodivergent, or maybe just need a space to decompress from the sights and sounds of K-Days. And then after that, we are at Folk Fest. So there'll be a sensory space there. And then going into October, we have our big gala. So that's our biannual fundraising gala that helps fund us for about half a year. It's very important. And yeah, so those are the major ones coming up this year. We have a busy summer ahead.
That sounds like a lot of fun events, though.
Yeah, it's great. And it brings out community and we get to meet more people. And a lot of people do know who we are, but I mean, it's always something we could do more of is just that outreach. And so people know that we are our space that you can come and just, find that community.
What is one thing you see happening over and over again to individuals with disabilities that shouldn't be? And how do you think it could be stopped?
I think there's assumptions that are created, and I'll speak with this through like what I know of autism and neurodivergence, but I think especially when people are creating systems or like working in whether it's healthcare or justice or like in housing, we see a lot of assumptions from people who are either making the decisions or having a huge that will make decisions that have huge impact on people who are living with disabilities and their lives and their families' lives. And sometimes what I think it needs to happen is the advocates that are out there need to be supported. I know in Alberta we've seen a decrease in like support or dollars for advocacy support. I think it's a detriment to the community. We try to do as much as we can, but we are not government funded. We rely on our fundraising events and our donors to support us, and whether we get grants for specific projects or programs. But I do see a need to having those folks that are living with whatever disability it might be and co-occurring, especially with autism. There's quite a few that are co-occurring. So I think it's having those folks at the table and providing the accessibility for them to be there, because it shouldn't just be a check mark. It shouldn't just be a performative action. It's how do you have meaningful engagement that reflects the disability community. And I'm not too sure we're there yet.
If someone wanted to become a member or a volunteer with Autism Edmonton, what is the process for joining as a member and for joining as a volunteer?
Yeah. So for the first part, so to be a volunteer, you have to be a member. So on our website, we have a become a member button that folks can click and you register. And then there is also a become a volunteer that you can click as well. And you would fill out that form. It goes to us to reach out, and so there would be a communication that happens after. We're actually just in the process of revamping our volunteer program because of COVID. Our volunteer program kind of just was on the back burner for a while, and there wasn't as many in-person events, and so it took a little bit to rebuild that back. And now with the realities of grant funding and that, we are looking to utilize more volunteers. So that is on us to bring that program a bit back. So it's a little bit messy right now, but we are in the process of putting all the pathway together. So once people fill out the form on our website, then you can access or we will send an email for information, and then you would pick out kind of if you want to be part of an event. So that's like a one-time deal, or if you want to be part of our programming. So that might be for Ocasio or the pantry, because the pantry is a lot of work, one day of the week where you go and pick up the food and kind of help sort the food and that. So we're in a bit of the way of getting that process like finalized. But for a member, just to recap, go to our website, autismedmonton.org. And I believe in the top right, I'd have to take a look. It says become a member, and then you would fill that out to become a member.
What is the one thing that everyone needs to know about Autism Edmonton?
Ooh, that's a good question. I think depending on who our team was, you get different answers. From myself as an executive director, I've been trying to share with the community that we are not government funded. I think there's a perception that we do receive like operational funds. But that's kind of more like operationalized. I think a more interesting answer, if I'm thinking about our frontline team, is Autism Edmonton is the glue of the autism sector. We have quite a few, and we're lucky to have really great autism organizations within our city. We have Center for Autism, Children's Autism group in Edmonton, and there's other ones too that are, they don't have autism in the name, but they're all working to support autistic folks. And where Autism Edmonton shines is just navigating people, because when you look at it from the outside, you're like, okay, who's doing what? Where am I going? What is my next step? And that can be challenging, especially if somebody has difficulties with it, like executive function and taking that next step. So I think coming to Autism Edmonton, what I think people would be surprised to know is that we have this information and we are happy to help people navigate these complex systems and provide information and support, and it's at no cost.
That is definitely good information to know. If listeners are looking for more information, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, so there's through our website, autismedmonton.org, and we have a contact button. Also, there's a contact us link, and you can find all our emails for each of our staff members. So if you were wanting more information on family supports or Ocasio or adult supports, you'd have the email to that direct person. We also are fairly active on our social media pages. So Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are the three that we have. And so, yeah, just search Autism Edmonton and you would be able to find us and can interact with us through posts. We don't have a dedicated communications person, so sometimes it could take a little bit. So yeah, email is the best. And we do have an general email, info@autismedmonton.org. But I always recommend, if you can find the person, like our contact us page, and find the right person, just sending directly to them is the best.
All right. Thanks again for joining us today. I really enjoyed hearing more about Autism Edmonton, and sounds like a great organization.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely to share, and yeah, I can't wait to chat with the team. I'm sure I missed so many things, but there's so much going on. But I really appreciate this opportunity to share. Thank you so much.
This has been a Community Partners interview on Voices for Ability Radio. All abilities, all the time.